Raiders have blown another 17-point lead, losing to the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-20. I'm Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and there's just no more answers. If Mark Davis doesn't fire Josh McDaniels, it is a middle finger and a spit in the face to all of Raider Nation. The Raiders entering this season, okay, 53-2 when leading by 17 points. They are now 53-5. Think about that. Since 2000, you have blown more 17-point leads this season alone than you did since 2000. Why? Your head coach is Josh McDaniels, and he is the worst head coach in the National Football League. I mean, I don't really have many answers for y'all. I said that you don't need to take your foot off the gas pedal, but unfortunately, the Raiders' offense sucked in the second half. Davante Adams entering halftime, 146 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. After halftime, 1 catch, no yards. Derek Carr choked. I mean, he missed so many easy throws today. The offensive line wasn't great. Your defense, Patrick Graham. I don't know if it's Patrick Graham out there, if it's Paul Gunther. I don't know what it is. This is what I do know, though. You have the softest team in the NFL right now. You know why? Because your leaders are soft. Josh McDaniels doesn't have a backbone. Derek Carr uses Kleenex all the time because that's how soft he is. And if you're done with these crappy performances, I want you to type trash. I want every single person to at the Raiders. I want people to just start looking for answers because you are not going to win anything with Josh McDaniels as your head coach. It's been proven. I get what Mark Davis said last week, that it's going to be McDaniels' job for a long time. But how can you as an owner look your fans in the faces, ask them to pay the outrageous prices that you're doing, not only for going to Raiders games, but flights, hotels are outrageous as well. And after 3 blown 17-point leads, you're still going to say that that's the right guy for your job? Mark Davis, if you don't fire Josh McDaniels after this, I sincerely hope that you consider selling the Raiders, because at that point, you're just much of the problem as Josh McDaniels, man. So Raiders stats versus the Jags. Total yards, 314. Passing, 248. Rushing, 66. Third down efficiency, 3 of 12. Penalties, 5 for 45. Those are the Raiders stats up against the Jags. And for the Jags side of the football, total yards, 404. Passing, 235. Rushing, 169. You continue to get beat again up the middle. Your defensive tackles are a joke. Yes, the Raiders lost a few linebackers due to injuries, but again, Anthony Averett, I don't know if it's Anthony Averett or Damon Arnett. Anthony Averett needs to find himself on the bench. He has been horrendous since coming back from the IR. The Raiders are desperately missing Nate Hobbs. The Patrick Graham defense right now does not work. It looks like a Nintendo 64 game that you've been blowing on for about 8 weeks at this point. You might as well just throw it away and upgrade, because the Patrick Graham system right now is an absolute shit show. Derek Carr going into halftime looked good. He had 224 yards, 2 touchdowns. You're telling me 35 yards the second half? DC choked when it mattered the most. And I get there are a lot of people out there that like DC and respect DC. You can like DC. You can respect DC. But for the people out there that are afraid to move on from Derek Carr, my question to you is why? Derek has never done anything for this Raiders team. The NFL is about Super Bowls. It's about playoff wins. It's about wins. I get it. It is a team sport. But your quarterback, Derek Carr, has never done anything in the win column. So as far as I'm concerned, you have nothing to lose by moving on from him. He has done a phenomenal job with this organization. He will go down in the history books as one of the greatest Raiders quarterbacks of all time. But the Derek Carr era has to end. When your leader is soft, when your leader is not a leader on the field, he's a baby, it's time to move on and get somebody else in there. I'm sorry. I'm done with the Derek Carr thing. I am. I will still root for him. I will still root for Raiders games. But we have to face the facts here. The sooner the Raiders fire Josh McDaniels and the sooner you got a different quarterback under center, the sooner the defense can finally get a freaking stop, that's when you're going to see a change. I don't know if you're ever going to see one, though. Here you go, though. Grade Derek Carr's performance. A, B, C, D, or F. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give DC a D. He played good in the first half, but you don't pay quarterbacks like you did DC to play well in the first half. You do it to show up in the second. He's just not getting it done, y'all. Now, today's show is presented by one of our awesome sponsors, EstablishedTitles.com/chat. And if I could become a Lord of Raider Nation and fire Josh McDaniels, I would do it. So if you want to be able to put Lord, Lady, Laird on your plane tickets, driver's license, literally anywhere where you can put a name, you can go to EstablishedTitles.com/chat. And Established Titles is a fun and novel way to preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland while helping the global restoration efforts. It's a project based on historic Scottish customs where landowners are referred to as lairds, lords, or ladies in English. Title packs give you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land with a unique plot number of private estate in Scotland and an official certificate with a crest. I got a certificate. I hope you all can appreciate our sponsor. It makes a great last holiday gift. At the end of the day, man, if I could be the Lord of Raider Nation and get rid of the people that need to be gone, I would do it. I don't know what I need to do, though. Save an extra 10%. Perfect holiday gift. EstablishedTitles.com/chat. So a lot of the comments that you guys are seeing here is literally our instant reaction to the Raiders' 27-20 loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go to Young Baller. Fire McDaniels. He ruined a playoff team. He did. He ruined a playoff team. Josh McDaniels is the biggest fraud out there. And God, for the love of God, God, please tell Mark Davis to fire Josh McDaniels. Please. Please. Let's go to Sell Lau. Raiders need a new owner. Davis keeps hiring crap coaches. He does. I mean, Davis deserves a lot of blame in this too. Like, you can't get it twisted. If Mark's not going to listen to the people inside of the organization, he's going to hire whoever he wants. See ya. Buddy Bear, sent the info to your IG. We are the third team to blow 3 17-point leads in the season and lose. Both coaches got fired the other 2 times. Buddy Bear, cheers to you, bro. I got the jersey on. I wish we could have got a win, man. I wish we could have got a win. Let's go to Mr. Bagoat. It looks like $1,000 on the Raiders winning. Niner game was a bad move. I truly don't understand how they think we should keep McDaniels. Park the car. Yeah, I don't know how to understand how you keep McDaniels either, but Buddy Bear brings up a good point. The last 3 coaches that blew 3 17-point leads, they got fired. We'll see if Mark Davis has enough stones to do it. Sheba General, doesn't matter if they get another shot. I mean, at this point, I just don't. It does matter, right? Like, you still want to be able to tell your team that you're going to be able to win. The problem is, though, if I'm a Raider fan right now, I ain't going to those games. I'm not paying $800 per ticket. I'm not going to spend over $2,000, $3,000 for me and my significant other to go to the Raiders game. No chance. I'll sit down, watch it on the couch, hang out with the nation on the Raiders Report. Let's go to Anthony Morales. 17-0 Arizona loss. 17-0 Kansas City loss. 17-0 Jags loss. See you next year. This Raiders season's over. I'm sorry, it's over. I don't know how you come back from the Saints loss, and then I don't know how you come back from blowing another 17-point lead. Hashim, Raider Nation, but FK, this is some trash. I don't know who FK is. Fired. I think it's just the F word. All right. Yeah, I feel that, bro. All right, y'all. I do agree. Raider Nation for life. And I'm going to say this, and probably I'm going to try to stay calm. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Jeremy Chuggs and I, we appreciate people who watch the show. And I love Raider fans because y'all are my family. And I mean this. I'm still going to rep this team. We're still going to do watch parties every single day. I'm still going to do a live show on Tuesday. We're still going to do live shows on Thursday, videos out every day. I mean this when I say this. Win, lose, or tie, it's Raider Nation till I die. If you agree with that, then subscribe. I get that you're frustrated. Might be a bad season. But you know what? We're going to keep up to date. We don't take the pedal off the metal. That's not what Raider Nation does. This is a full-time job, Raider Nation. Let's go to GJ. Thank God college basketball is ready. Go Tar Heels. Oh, man. Let's go to the next one. Christopher, $250 million guaranteed for Lamar. Let's go. That's what I would offer. If Lamar Jackson hits free agency, you let go of Derek Carr, you save $110.68 million, you make Lamar Jackson the highest paid quarterback in the National Football League. Let's go to Marco. New coach, new system. What we expect, fire Mark Davis. See, it's not just new coach, new system. It's also the fact that your general manager and your head coach gave that quarterback the amount of money that they did, because in order for that contract to go down, you do have to have confidence. Now, I still will say the Derek Carr contract is genius because there is no guaranteed after the season, but it does. It still falls on your head coach to be able to execute a game plan. Jay Mills, Garbage has been trashed since breaking his leg. Yes, McDaniels is terrible and needs to be fired, but garbage lovers are a cringe. Top 3 pick coming. I mean, right now, I believe since the Raiders lost this game, you're definitely going to be in the top 5. And there are quarterbacks out there that you have to consider drafting. It sucks, but you got to consider it. Let's go to the Raiders. At this point, hire me. I can go 2-15. Too far for that money. There's a lot of people that can do a lot better job. I'm convinced you literally put almost anybody else at head coach for the Raiders. You put an average head coach in, Raiders are 6-2 right now. That's what I believe. You put an average head coach in, Raiders are 6-2 right now. Instead, you got this clown show, and that's what we're dealing with. Let's go to the last Mandalore. I'm mad but more demoralized. Lack of leadership from Carr, McDaniels. Thank you, Mitch and Jeremy. At least you don't disappoint. We try to never disappoint. We try to have a good time. And I think we had that first half Jeremy and I had, that's probably some of the most fun I've ever had on a first half of a show. It just sucks that we can't keep that energy because, I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit up here and act like a cheerful guy when the Raiders blow another 17-point lead. I can't help it, man. So here are overall your stats that you guys are going to be looking at here for the Raiders and the Jags. Josh McDaniels sucks. Patrick Graham, another shitty performance from him as a defensive coordinator. Honestly, man, I'm not even going to refer to Josh McDaniels as the head coach anymore because he doesn't do any coaching. I'm not going to refer to Patrick Graham as the defensive coordinator. I'm going to call them by their first name. I don't know how you can be possibly disrespectful to coaches, but that's what I'm going to do. If I called my dad Rich, he'd beat my ass when I was a kid. So it's Josh McDaniels, it's Patrick Graham. There's no coaches on that Raiders team from here on out. It's Josh McDaniels, Josh McDonald's, Patrick Gunther. I don't know what I'm looking at. Why are we still passing on 3rd and 1, 4th and 2? You have a freaking hell of a halfback. I don't know, dude. If you're talking about the play like right before the Raiders like final chance, I agree with you. You got one of the best running backs in the NFL, and instead you just try to overcomplicate. Raiders are so good. One of the other great examples of overcomplicating the simple is 3rd down and 4 late in the game. The Raiders put Max Crosby in at coverage. Imagine putting Max Crosby in a coverage. That's laughable. Mr. Vagoat, sell your tickets. They don't deserve us. I don't disagree with you, man. I didn't pay the money for the tickets. I do Raiders Report shows, so I'm not going to sit up here and tell anybody to do what they want with their money. But I'd tell you right now, I wouldn't go to that game. No chance. Let's go to Jose. How much money is McDaniels robbing us for? You know, it's funny. I actually haven't seen an official contract put out by the Raiders for McDaniels, so I don't actually have the answer to that. We'll see, though. We'll see, bro. Let's go to, what up, Chuck? Carr blows and acts like it's everyone else's fault. I mean, right now, Derek Carr is playing like maybe the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. I can confidently sit up here right now and tell you I would take 20 other quarterbacks over Derek Carr right now in the NFL. Big Time Willie went to sleep at halftime and woke up to this. Yeah, that's about as big of a nightmare as you could have asked for there, Big Time. Not great, though. Not great. Say what you want, but we all know damn well we are back here next week for some more suffering. Someone please end the misery. It hurts. I mean, I'm going to be back here next week. Jeremy Chugs is going to be back next week. We're going to be sitting around having a good time, but you know what? I'm still going to cheer on this Raiders team to win. Alan Cruz, time for McDonald's to take out his coloring book and call his best plays. It's just time for McDaniels to go, bro. It's time for McDaniels to go. Channel Surfer, the Raiders aren't physical enough. That's why they keep losing every year. Good to see you guys. It's going to be another long year. The Raiders are mentally weak. They're physically weak. They have bad leaders. Their quarterback's soft. Their head coach sucks. I don't have any other answers besides that. Let's go to Cali Bread Breaks. Haven't found my car since 2016. I guess it's still stuck at the repair shop. Real one for life. Cali Bread, you're a real one. But these men stay disrespecting the Shield. Al Davis right now is rolling over in his grave by the efforts that have been put forth here, man. Is the season over? Y for yes or N for no? Y for yes, N for no. Is the season over? Mathematically, the answer is no. I just don't know how you bounce back from this. And unless you find a new quarterback, unless you find some playmakers, you had your opportunity at the trade deadline. Darren Waller doesn't want to play. I don't see how you type. I don't see how you think that the season's not over. Brandon, do you think Carr is playing bad because he was told he's gone after this year? No. If Carr's not playing bad because of that, Carr's playing bad because he's just not that good of a quarterback. I mean, you kind of saw it last year, and you can say what you want, and people are going to disrespect me for that. That's part of it. Carr wasn't even really all that good at the end of last season. The team was carried by their defense. They were carried by the running game. Carr was just lucky enough to be a game manager to ride it out. Carr's been bad for about 15, 16 games, and realistically, he's been bad for a lot longer than that. So to me, no. If Carr wanted to make his money, he needed to play well. So there you go. Let's go to Mason. McChicken and Carr, crash and garbage. Team has no faith. Tired of making excuses for Carr because he's good, but that's just it. He's just good, not great. And that's kind of where you're at. You're at Derek, who's good, but he's bad in McDaniels' system underneath a head coach who's terrible, which makes then Derek Carr worse. It's just a combination. Raiders podcast, fire Josh McDaniels now. If you want the Raiders to fire Josh McDaniels, like this video, tweet it at the Raiders. I don't know what we got to do as a team. I don't know what we got to do as a fan base. Also, the locker room is closed. The Raiders closed their locker room. I don't know what that means. My final thoughts on this game is the Raiders blow another 17-point lead. I can't believe how frustrated I am. If the Raiders don't fire Josh McDaniels, as far as I'm concerned, it's a big middle finger. It's a spit in the face of Raider Nation, and I don't ever like to get family involved. But Mark, your dad would have never stood for this, man. He wouldn't have. And I don't want to put words in your mouth. You know your father a lot better than me. But people watching the show right now, does anybody think Al Davis would have ever stood for head coach blowing 3 17-point leads with a playoff caliber team? Does anybody out there think that that's out of line for saying? I hope it's not. I really hope that's not out of line. But for the love of God, Al would have never stood for this. And I hope that you, as the owner of the Raiders, don't stand for this either. I hope not. Now, guys, I love y'all. I appreciate everyone who's tuning in right now. If you haven't already, give me a follow on Twitter. Give me a follow on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. We're going to keep you guys up to date. Everything going on around the nation.